Sola Alamutu. I'm an environmentalist, I'm a hospitality and ecotourism practitioner, and also an advocate and promoter of natural health and wellness.
My name is Uche Ogho. I'm a pharmacist and advocate natural health.
The Green Health Project is a partnership between three different organizations. One is Kate Communications, which I belong to. Another one is Keys to Wellness, which my sister here, Uche, belongs to. And then there's Eden Streams. There's a group of environmentalists, pharmacists, doctors. And we're not necessarily all in the medical profession. We're just generally people who are in the profession and not, that are concerned about people living a healthier lifestyle, a greener lifestyle, and living longer, as long as God has actually ordained us to live.
We believe that healthful living should be having health in the fullness, not just healthy in every ramification, such as what we put on the skin, not just what we eat. So we're talking about the environment. We're also talking about what we put on the skin and what we eat, what we drink. So that is the picture of healthful in all areas. Well, basically, what we eat should give us energy, should build up our bodies, should protect us. So if you're eating anything that is not giving you that result, then you shouldn't eat it. So what we eat should build us up, give us energy, protect our immune system, and then just help us to grow. Have the 6 classes of food. They are supposed to be healthy, but because they have been refined in one way or the other, some have come out unhealthy. And so we'll talk about whites, we'll talk about fries, we'll talk about the fizzy drinks. So if you have the normal carbohydrate, fine, it's healthy. But if it's been changed to a white, in other words, it's been refined and the main nutrients have been removed, then it's unhealthy. So you have whites. And so that should be avoided. We'll have fries where people fry foods. Foods are not supposed to be fried. So it makes it unhealthy for the body. We have fizzy drinks where you have drinks that have been carbonated, they have phosphoric acid and have lots of sugar. They are not good. So those foods are not good, while the natural ones are okay.
One of the things we say is that, a lot of things that are in the air, you can't really do much about it. You may not be able to control the fumes from the generator until, something's done about it and all of that. But what it is you can control, basically, is what it is we're advocating that you should make an effort to control. So, for example, what it is you buy, the products you buy to put on your skin is something you actually have control over, just as much as what you eat is something that you have control over. You have a choice in what it is you buy. So, just as we say that what it is you eat, you need to be careful and you need to eat as healthful as possible. What it is you put on your skin, it says the same thing, in the sense that the skin is the largest organ in the body, and your skin eats. Just as you eat, your skin actually eats what it is you put on it. So if you think about your skin as you, whatever it is you put on, you need to be careful. There's a lot of toxic chemicals in antiperspirants, moisturizing lotions, hairsprays, hair dyes, shampoos, name it. Particularly, a lot of personal care products have a lot of chemicals in it to make it last, to make it smell well, and all of that, to make it foam. But a lot of them are dangerous. Shampoos, for example, have
Sodium
lauryl sulfate, yes, which is a foaming agent, which causes shampoos and gels to foam. But the chemicals that are harmful to us. Now, what happens is that you shampoo your hair, on a regular basis, but that as you shampoo your hair, you're almost, in quotes, shampooing your head, because it's actually going to your head and eventually goes into your skin. They say you scratch it, you scratch it a lot, and it opens up the pores. So even though the reason why, and I'll say something like that, the reason why a lot of people don't know that these things are harmful is because it takes a long time before the harmful effects come on us. So it may take 10 years, it may take 20 years, depending on how one's immune system is, you know. And so because of that, people don't know. So basically what we're doing is we're letting people know so that they can prevent something that may not happen for the next 5 years or the 10 years or 20 years from happening. So as I said, whatever it is you put on your skin eventually gets inside your skin and can cause Alzheimer's diseases, can cause cancer, can cause depression, anxiety, you know, and also different diseases, which is one of the things that we're trying to basically prevent, the diseases that will come up, and particularly with children, even some baby shampoos, toothpaste, I didn't mention toothpaste, and you know, the funny thing is that some of these products actually have on them, do not allow to enter your eyes, may be harmful, do not swallow. I mean, things that have that, it's because we're not thinking. Because if we're thinking, we realize that there must be something wrong here somewhere. Something that's harmful for me if I ingest it and I'm still taking it. I'm ingesting it through my skin, it's just that it takes a longer time. Some of these products are so harmful that if you swallow them, you would either fall ill or you can actually die in a few minutes. You know, and some of them actually even say, if any of it gets into your mouth, call the Poison Control Center or go and see your doctor. So there's something wrong with them somewhere. Deodorant, for example, they contain aluminum and parabens, which goes partly straight to your lymph nodes, which is usually under your arms. And if you shave, you know, that part of your underarms is open. You know, the pores are open, and what happens is that it goes in to your lymph nodes and is been known, in quotes, to cause breast cancer, particularly in women. Although men can also get breast cancer, but women, because of the fat, you know, our breasts are fattier than men, are more likely to get breast cancer than men. So the products inside the personal care products, the toxins, the chemicals, are what is actually dangerous to our health. And of course, there are alternatives to any of these things that we're talking about. For example, we could use coconut oil. I use coconut oil as a deodorant. I know deodorants are actually better than antiperspirants. Antiperspirants, because deodorants they mask the odor, the bad odor, and make you smell better. But the antiperspirants stop you from perspiring. And perspiration is actually a natural thing, so you really ought to perspire. So there's something that's blocking you from perspiring. It's not exactly, cannot be best for you, especially when what it's doing is actually putting chemicals into your body.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Those products are really not the best that we should use. And so we really advocate that people should find alternatives. There are alternatives, and we are using them. And they can find those alternatives. Well, she mentioned coconut oil for deodorant, as deodorant, and then we talk about cleaning the hair. We have baking soda for cleaning the hair. We have apple cider vinegar, which we can also use as deodorant. We can use that to wash the hair, to clean the hair. We can also use apple cider vinegar as a toner, you know, for the skin. And so these are natural products that are available, and they are not expensive, not even as expensive as the beauty products that we have.
And then, okay, I'll just add, then of course there are fruits. The avocado, for example, is fantastic for the skin. Lemon can be used as a cleanser. So the fruits that we already advocate that people should eat, because we want you to eat a lot more vegetables and a lot more fruits, can actually be applied onto your skin and do exactly the same thing without harming you, that all these, what kind of chemicals, yes, all the products actually, you know, do.
Yes, for a lot of these things, they can't do by themselves. For instance, she mentioned cleansers using lemon, using baking soda. Baking soda acts as an exfoliant. So instead of getting the one that is already contaminated with different chemicals, you just use baking soda in honey and lime. So you see that it's what is available, and then you use to exfoliate the face. Coconut oil is a very good moisturizer, coconut oil especially, and so you use that to moisturize the face. So for foundation, we have some people have come up with what they call mud, because really we're from dust and clay. It's funny, but those are the kind of things that people can have and use. You know, there is bentonite clay that is also used as a mask. And it's so cheap. It's in the market. Some women eat it. It's also used for the face and all that. The options are there. And if they actually search, you know, they'll find many more options. For instance, we mentioned coconut oil. So take coconut oil, put it under your arm, and then try. Just wait and see if the odor is going to come back, or if it goes, or if you're comfortable for the day. I have used coconut oil for some time. After some time, I used baking soda. No, they didn't fail, but I was just trying different types. Right now, I'm using lemon essential oil, which I made by myself. So, and I am preferring the lemon essential oil. But when I don't have it, I go back to coconut oil. So we really, and then apple cider vinegar. So all you have to do is to put it under the arm, just like you would use the normal deodorant, and just wait. None of them has failed for me, but all they have to do is to try. Just try it and see what works, since the alternatives
Okay, let me
there.
just, we could talk about toothpaste, for example. The use of fluoride is very controversial, because apparently there is yet to be a study that shows that fluoride actually prevents tooth decay. Apparently, it was some years ago somebody came up with that concept that fluoride, prevents tooth decay. But there has been research to show that fluoride actually is very harmful to one's health, and even affects the brain, and also could cause cancer. So rather than I use non-fluoride toothpaste when I use toothpaste at all. And like, so Uche said, if you go out there, you will find. And then there are also alternatives. For example, I use a combination of coconut oil and baking soda. Basically, just put them together in a container, and then I just use my brush and mix it up and just basically brush my teeth with it. And if you remember, I remember when I was growing up, we used chewing stick. They're still very good. In fact, a few people are going back to, it's basically like going back to nature. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that some people came up with, oh, it's local, it's not nice, let's become more sophisticated, and came up with all these things, which is all well and good. Somebody is making money out of it somewhere, but then what is the effect of that? I remember we used to use charcoal and alum, and all those things. They're also they were never bad. They're still good. It's just that somebody wanted to package them better to make them more appealing. For even table salt, you mentioned salt. Salt, for example, we advocate sea salt, organic sea salt, to be used instead. Table salt is so toxic, it's unbelievable. Honestly, it's like just taking poison. Seriously. It's very chemically based. Because what has happened is that they've removed the nutrients. The one thing is to remove the nutrients in salt. I'm not saying salt is not good, or else I won't advocate for that. But then they now add chemicals which are harmful. Now, the reason behind this white flour, white sugar, and white salt is just for appealing. It's so that it will look nice. So they make it white for you to look, so that it will appeal to us. Because when we show people brown salt, they're like, it doesn't look very nice. Or brown rice, or brown flour. It doesn't look nice, So, but what is the cost of changing something and making it look nice? And at the end of the day, somewhere down the line, I'm going to become ill or sick or die earlier than I should because of those products.
Sir, I must add here that, you see, these products we're talking about, the foods and all that, their effects are not immediate. Sometimes it takes as long as 20 years, 30 years for you to have them. And that's why you go to the hospitals at age 40, they expect that if you have hypertension, there's no problem. Oh, some people actually start at about age 40. How old are you? 40? Oh, yes, it's about that age. You have arthritis, they ask you, oh, are you getting to 40 yet? You know? So it takes a long time. So we have a cumulative effect here where this thing starts showing up and then it appears like because you're growing old. So it's really not like that. If it's a situation of you eat, you fall and die, people will understand. But you can actually eat them for years and nothing happens. But the cumulative hazard is growing. And after some time, when the body is tired, it just breaks down. Because God has made our body in such a way that it detoxifies itself. So you take something like soda, which is very acidic. The body tries to find a way to neutralize it, okay? So you don't feel it. So it neutralizes it for you and you just move ahead. You take something poisonous, it just tries to neutralize it and you just keep going. But after some time, when all the compensatory mechanisms of the body become weak, then they start showing up. And then it's like, oh, she's getting to 40, oh, you're 45 and all that. So that's what really happens. It takes time for the effects to show. Okay, in the artificial products, you have the chemicals like she's mentioned. The chemicals are not good. For instance, let's take the issue of white. Before carbohydrates, let's say wheat, becomes white, the vitamins, the oils have been removed from the outer coat, scraped off. Not only that, you know, it's blended and then is decolorized, okay? Deodorized
and bleached.
Yes, and bleached to give it that effect. So you have flour that has preservative, that has a bleaching agent, that has all kinds of things without nutrient. So that's what you're actually taking in. So those are the things that cause the effect. Those are the toxins we're talking about. I mean, they might not call it toxins, but they are really toxins because they're not doing the body any good. You can imagine having preservative, a chemical in your body. So what they do is they reduce the immune system, the functioning of the immune system, and from reducing the function of the immune system, all kinds of diseases can actually attack the person.
I'll say that one of the main things I want you to do is avoid. I say avoid. I will say eliminate, but I'll say avoid because it's very difficult. You've done something for the past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 odd years. It's very difficult for you to stop. But you said something about what are the cons, what are the pros and cons. I'll take something, for example. When I used to take sodas ages ago, I realized that 1 week of not taking them, there's a weight loss. So I'm not doing any serious diet. Just 1 week of reduction of sodas and fizzy and carbonated drinks. I see the difference. And packaged, you know, juices. I'm just talking about that. So what's the alternative? Increase your fruit intake. Increase your vegetable intake. There's an adage which is eat your fruits and juice your vegetables. As much as possible, everybody should have a juicer that they use to juice their vegetables. And they should buy more fruits. I mean, people just think, okay, I mean, a lot of people have heard this thing about I need to eat more fruits. So somebody takes 1 fruit a day or 1 apple and thinks, oh, wow, I'm doing so much. But I had an apple, but it's really not enough because it's supposed to come as food and it's not filling. And that's why people then get hungry and then the next thing they're looking for some processed food or the other, something that's easy to grab. So I'll say if you want to have like a formula, eat at least 4 of these, any kind of fruits a day, and about 2 bowls of raw vegetable salads a day. And I am almost positive that there will be a difference. There's something we advocate called the 30-day challenge. If you try this, what I just said, for example, eliminate sodas, and then drink a lot more water. You're supposed to drink like an average of 6 to 8 glasses of water every day. So replace the sodas and, you know, beers and alcohol and all that with water. Add more fruits to your food. And if you eat more fruits, you are even likely to want to eat the junk foods less. I think that's just one thing I'll say. For 30 days, I am positive that there would be a difference. on the concept of this green health project generally, I take it from Hosea 4:6, which says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." So basically what we are doing is the knowledge that we have acquired from our research, from our practical life, and from friends, we basically pass on that knowledge to people. Okay, so that's why it is we go on Facebook, we have go on air, we go to churches and mosques, and basically talk to people about it. Because if they had knowledge about what to do, then they wouldn't do those things.
Somewhere in Revelation talks about that God has given us greens, the green plants for food. And she talked about the green tea party. It's all about that God has given us plants to eat and for healing of the nations. So what are we talking about? God has given us really everything. And so if we do that and remember God's word, it will be easier to move forward and to step into where we should be.
And of course, the popular one is that your body is linked to what she said. Our body is supposed to be the temple of the Holy Spirit. And, we shouldn't put garbage in it. And when we eat junk food, we're actually putting garbage in this temple that God is dwelling in. I mean, I don't believe that if anybody saw God right now, they'll just go and start putting junk and rubbish and garbage and things, inside where he's staying. So, but basically that's what we're doing. We're actually polluting our bodies with non-healthful foods by eating all this food that we're eating. And so we're polluting the temple of the Holy Spirit that he's given us, where we're supposed to put pure things. We're talking about impure foods. We're supposed to put things that are good, things that are poor, things that are nutritious, things that are healthy.
And if you take it from there, if you put things that are draining your energy, you don't really have the energy to do what God has called you to do. If you put in things there that will eventually make you sick, then you don't have the time, you don't have the energy to really fulfill your destiny. And I look at it that way, that this body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in it, and then you should honor God with your body because they belong to God. And so the best I can do for my body is to make sure it's healthy, is to make sure that I put in the right thing so that I'll be strong to do what God has asked me to do. If I'm too sick, I can't evangelize. If I'm too tired, I just really can't live my life to the fullest.
And the beauty of it, in Nigeria, for example, we have seasons. There's season for orange, there's season for tangerine. We talk about this thing. For example, we say that, okay, now that there's tangerine, eat as many tangerines as possible. When carrots are out, we eat as many carrots as possible. Some countries are not blessed like we are. They import the things that we find, naturally there. Nuts are also very good for us. They're there. We have all sorts of different nuts. And these things are there abundantly. That it's not any human being that has made the soil so fertile that all these things grew. God did that right from the foundation of the earth. And so we have the advantage of this, and we're not taking advantage of it. That's why I'm talking about lack of knowledge. Because if you had knowledge about it, you would not do it. If you had knowledge that fruits and vegetables are very good for you, not just a little bit every day, but quite a sizable amount that will fill you so that you don't even have to think about eating junk. And then you'll be actually doing what it is that God has actually said you should do and enjoying the fruits that God has put there for us.
Say if they're already sick, they should gradually go back to nature. At least stop the junk, stop the unhealthy ones, stop the ones draining their energy. So once they stop that, they can gradually go back to what is right. Go back to brown rice. Try to eat brown rice. Go back to using coconut oil. Go back to using the herbs. Yorubas call one efirin, Igbos call it inchanwo. You have the bitter leaves and all that. They should gradually eliminate or reduce the intake of those ones that are bad, that we have classified as not good, and then start taking up the ones that are good. Take lots of water along the line, because there are different types of sicknesses. I can't really say this or that. So the first thing to do is to go back to nature and try to reduce and eliminate the ones that are not healthful. And then with time, they would get
I would say that, I'll add to that, we could cultivate a habit of growing our own foods, even in pots. I have in my compound, and it's not that big, but I have potted plants. I have the efirin she talked about, scented leaves. I have aloe vera. I have pawpaw leaves. I have, so many of these things that we can actually just basically take on a regular basis. I remember when we were growing up, we had tomatoes, we had okra, we had peppers. In our house, in my family house, we have avocados. We had pink grapefruits, we have mangoes, fruits. These are things that, unfortunately, a lot of people live in concrete houses and concrete surroundings. That's why I said, okay, if you can't plant a proper garden, then have potted plants. Instead of having just nice hibiscus flowers and sunflowers, have some of these herbs as plants, and use them, eat them, put them in your food. I want people to live as long as God has created us to live. I know there's a controversy, there's 70, 80, 120 years. But the average year that has been given to Nigerians now, both male and female, is 45. That is just not, as far as I'm concerned, it's ungodly. There's nowhere in the Bible that it says that, except somebody did something wrong and God, struck them, that they died at age 45. You should live, as far as I'm concerned, minimum of 70. 120, 80, is okay. But the important thing I'll say at this point in time is not just for you to live long, but it's to live long and healthy. Because if you're living long and you are sick and sick and sick and tired all the time, then, like she said, you can't do God's work. Whatever purpose God has brought you into this world for, you cannot do it with ease if you are sick all the time, if you're going to hospital all the time, or you're in bed all the time. So live as long as possible and as healthy as possible, eating the right foods at the right time with the right amount, and drinking the healthier versions of the drinks that are available right now.